So let's look at it let's try and look at it from an evidence-based view. Teaching standards. Teaching standards are not improved by funding. Teaching standards are improved by learning. Teaching standards are improved by teachers learning about their jobs, their craft, their skills, their knowledge. It is a pedagogical practice, not a dollar practice. Teaching standards come about through well-resourced, well-researched, evidence-based professional learning opportunities for teachers. Full stop. That is the research, the latest research, which is New Zealand-based, and which is an international literature search, says quite clearly that principals, if they wish to improve outcomes in schools, need to do it through professional learning of their teachers. That has a size effect of amazing proportion. Academic outcomes. There is no evidence either way, right across the world, in any of the schemes that academic outcomes have been improved through the use of vouchers. So you can either way if you want, but it's really based on just what you wish it to be. It's not based on fact. There is no fact to support academic outcomes as being a good cause to have vouchers. Cost effectiveness. The interesting thing about cost effectiveness is that if it is so cheap to run, why do private schools charge more than the state? First point. Secondly, if you are going to run a pure voucher scheme, then it's going to be driven by the market, supposedly, and therefore people are going to have choice, hopefully. Then what will happen is that all the people will go flocking to the one school with a good reputation this month, and that school have to have one hell of a lot of extra capacity ready and available instantly to take effect the moment all these people start flooding in. Because if they're going to change their schools in June and say 30 people come along, well, who's going to provide the classroom all of a sudden? Who's going to provide the teachers all of a sudden? It's really good planning requires a lot of expense. So it's not cheap to run a voucher system. You have to have that spare capacity right throughout the system all over the country. The other thing about the systems that do work, the only ones that do work is they do not allow. So there is, and that works in that regard is Sweden. And it's, interestingly enough, the vouchers are taken up mainly by middle and high income parents, not by low income parents. So, we come to the negatives. The risks are, from the research, is that there is social stratification, a risk of segregation on ethnic basis and perhaps ethnic basis. Here is an interesting for the vouchers. Vouchers came about because of the need to perpetuate segregation in the southern states. School vouchers were initially used by southern states in the United States as a method of perpetuating segregation. In a few instances, public schools were closed outright and vouchers were issued to parents. The vouchers, in many cases, were only good privately segregated schools, known as segregation academies. So, the second piece of evidence which comes through is that students with disabilities and students with poorly educated parents very rarely take advantage of the large use of voucher systems. Voucher programs are disproportionately used by middle and upper income families, as I've already said, and existing evidence indicates that many of the important questions about vouchers have yet to be answered. So in other words, the jury hasn't had time to actually form an impression, which is what I suppose one reason for saying give them a go, but it's not really a reason for saying that they are a dominant form or a premium form of organisation. The RAND Foundation education arm says that the assumption is that schools will perform better under vouchers or charters, but there is little research that would permit the effectiveness of vouchers to be judged or to be compared with other reforms. So it's a little bit like looking at a whole complex problem and seizing on one component and saying, that's the solution. That isn't the way it works. Schools, because they deal with people, because they serve people, are incredibly complex beasts. And consequently, it's more than one thing involved in improving or doing a fair deal. The upshot of that is that with vouchers, where they have been used in the States, for example, there's been a change in class size and small class sizes. Now we know from research in Tennessee that small class sizes actually do improve educational attainment. So is it small class sizes or is it vouchers? How do we know? So, it seems to me that student achievement is now being held ransom to the ideology of promoting private schools, when the vast majority of our parents are happy with the current system, and that we really do not want to be in a position where we are transferring wealth unnecessarily to the rich. We really do not want to be hiding behind the poor and making arguments which are about funding and not about learning. And we really do not want to be carrying on this whole thing about knocking our state system, which is such a high-performing system. Thank you very much.